Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face. Welcome back to another edition of this Motorsport Manager career that we've got going at the moment. We're back today with round 15, the Brazilian Grand Prix here in Rio de Janeiro. My favourite track in real life and the track in this game that most resembles real life. Obviously we don't quite have the centre S here, it's not as pronounced an S, but it does go straight into the Curva do Sol, up the opposite straight and then into the Cida do Lago or the lake descent, because there is a lake here in real life, and then we come down into the section of corners 5, 6, 7, then 8 up into Pinarino, then we hit turn 10 of Bico de Plata, which is 2 corners here, and Bico de Plata pretty much means duck's beak, but it is 2 corners here instead of more of a long sweeping sort of hairpin before you go into turn 11 Magula, and then you go up into Junkout or the junction, which is a little bit tighter in real life. So this one's a little bit more of a curve in real life, this one's a little bit more of a tighter left-hander, but it's a little bit more sweeping before you head into sort of turn 13 around here, and then you come up to the long sweeping 14th corner Subida dos Boxes, which is pretty much, I think it's pit climb or the climb to the pits, and then we hit turn 15 before we come into the Arquibancadas, which is the grandstand bleachers section as it is in English. But yeah, so pretty much my favourite track in real life, my favourite track to drive on the F1 game. So hopefully we're going to have a good race here. It is going to be rainy, we know our car is strong in the wet, so hopefully we're going to have a good race. We had a really good race last time out and managing to stay ahead of the Ferraris. We managed to keep Ocon ahead of Vettel, we managed to keep Norris ahead of Leclerc. That means we clawed back the gap a little bit with just 3 points behind the Ferrari. The Ferrari is the strongest car at the moment, I think. I know they have built that engine that put them back above us. They are still being beat by the Mercedes car. Obviously Lewis, obviously Lewis has the best car because he's been storming ahead into the lead. When Mercedes doesn't mess up his strategy, he just flies away. Whether he's going to be able to do that here in Brazil, we'll just have to wait and see. But we do have a vote coming up, which is for spec suspension systems. So I'm just going to vote against this. I don't want any of the parts to be spec parts here. It looks like it's going to get voted down anyway, so but we'll just go against it anyway. Only 3 votes for from Renault, Force India and Haase, so that's voted down, so nothing to do there. We also have a couple of sponsors here. When we did it 2 races ago, we left the sponsors as they were because there weren't any decent sponsors here. Hopefully these 2 new sponsors now are going to be decent enough for us to get on the car. We've got Motul, that's new. Red Bull still wanting to sponsor us at the moment, but Motul offering us no money up front and only £40,000 per race. But we've got quite a decent offer from RCI Bank and Services, who sponsor Renault, or at least did in real life. I think they still sponsor them, but £8 million, that's quite a lot better than the other offers we were getting there. It is for 21 races though, but we'll put it on the car. It helps our bank balance out here. We've got a scouting report done. I'm just pretty much scouting everyone that I can at the moment. That's in F2 and F3, which is going to help me with the driver movements at the end of the season, just so I can see where people are at in the game. We've got one done on Antonio Fuoco, who's almost 3 stars. He's doing pretty decently. He also has the racer stat as well, so he could be an option in some of the, we'll say, new F2 teams. A little bit of a spoiler there for what's coming up in season 4, but we're just going to go ahead and we'll have a quick look at the F2 race, which is about to go down here. We've got fuel efficiency, where yeah, is happy with the fuel efficiency there, so we'll just run the F2 race at Russia, which we just did not too long ago. Nicholas Latifi wins again. He's by far and away leading in the Drivers' Championship at the moment, from Santino Ferrucci, Rio Haryanto and Nick De Vries at the moment. Jack Aitken a long way behind as well. And ART looking really strong in Formula 2 this season, a long way ahead of Prema, Trident Arden and the Dams team. So not bad there in F2. A lot of changes coming to F2 next season, but we will go over that in the future. We've got a couple more scouting reports done, and Daniel Ricciardo wanting to leave Aston Martin Red Bull, sort of reflecting real life. He's not moving to the Renault team in this game, but he is moving to a pretty decent team. Just keep teasing what's going to be happening in season 4 here. So we're going to jump into the race weekend. We're going to select Puma, As usual, both guys still pretty happy with their cars. Lando Norris not as happy overall as Esteban Ocon is, but they do have pretty equal parts. As we've gone over before, Norris has the better suspension, front wing, rear wing. He's more aero orientated, whereas Ocon has the better engine, gearbox and brakes. He's more power orientated, just to sort of suit the teams that they have come from. Esteban Ocon, obviously a Mercedes driver, more power orientated. Lando Norris, a McLaren driver, more aero orientated. So we just got them sort of sat in cars that more suit their parent team styles. That's how we sort of work it out when we're giving out the new parts, who gets a better part of what part of the car. But anyway, we're going to jump into practice now, obviously skip over that as usual, and we'll be back hopefully with both cars in Q3 in just a second. So here we go with our second qualifying lap here in Q3. We've got a massive bunch of cars here all together as we do our last qualifying lap in this qualifying session. We didn't show the first lap because it was raining. We had a hodgepodge of cars out on different tyres. Romain Grosjean is currently sat on pole position, although he's not coming out for another lap. He did his second lap early, which was his pole position lap at the moment. We sent both cars out pretty close together, but Ocon came out a little bit further behind. This might benefit him, or he might be so far behind the other cars that it doesn't benefit him. We'll just have to see how that goes on at the moment. But we were pretty quick in Q2. Ocon was 4th in Q2. Norris only just snuck through into Q3, coming 10th overall, saving himself by half a tenth of a second. But Norris is currently up there ahead of Bottas and Grosjean. We're just going to see where Ocon can go. He's about half a second down at the moment. He goes 7th quickest, so not that much quicker than his teammate there. So we're 7th and 8th, pretty much where I would have expected us to be, behind the Ferraris, Mercedes and Red Bulls, as they've still got room to manoeuvre. They're still upgrading their car this season, whereas we've just finished all together. We've finished with next year's car as well. So it's sort of where we're expecting to be. Hopefully we can pick some stuff up when the rain comes in the race. If there is a lot of rain, we know our car is strong in the rain. So here we go with the grid for the 2020 Brazilian Grand Prix. As usual, Vettel, Lewis Hamilton on the front row of the grid. Then we have Danny Rick, a little bit better than usual for him, in 3rd place ahead of his teammate Pascal Wehrlein. The Red Bulls out qualifying the second Mercedes and Ferrari cars of Kevin Magnussen and Charles Leclerc, who find themselves in 5th and 6th. Then we have both our cars on the 4th row of the grid, Ocon followed by Norris, and then we see the McLaren of Valtteri Bottas in 9th, Romain Grosjean in 10th. We're all starting on the used Ultrasofts. We do have a spare set of Ultrasoft tyres left ready for the race as well, which we can use during the race. It is going to be a 2-stop race, this race, for every team inside the top 10. So if we can go, I'm thinking we're going to go ultra soft and then onto the softs, and then hopefully we've done well enough with the tyres that we can go back onto the ultra soft to finish the race on as well. But outside the top 10, we've got Max Verstappen, a little bit better than he has been doing recently in that Force India car, 11th for him, ahead of the McLaren of Stoffel van Dorn. Felix Rosenqvist in the Renault ahead of his teammate Nico Hulkenberg, who currently has a dodgy neck. His fitness will be down for this race. Alex Lynn in the Sauber, a little bit better than usual for him, ahead of Sergio Perez in the Force India. Carlos Sainz in the Haas is 17th, Pierre Gasly is 18th, Billy Johnson 19th, and Marcus Ericsson is back to his usual 20th place in that Sauber. So we'll just move the camera so we can see the cars here as the lights are all on. And the lights are out and off we go. So what a start from Esteban Ocon. Look at that up the outside. He's got the run on Lewis Hamilton. So he goes from 7th to 1st here. Absolutely amazing start from Esteban Ocon, whereas Norris is cutting traffic, and that was a Ferrari flying across the track. That is Sebastian Vettel, who is caught in a struggle at the moment for the Drivers' Championship. That's going to put him a long way behind Lewis Hamilton. That is going to be him giving up his place at the top of the Drivers' standings. That won't allow us, if Vettel can't get back up into the points, to run away with the championship heading into the final 2 races. But Norris himself is outside the points here, currently battling with Verstappen. We're going to get him pushing a little bit since he's sort of stuck in a big pack of cars, if we can just sort of get him ahead. Meanwhile, we're just going to run Ocon as it is here. We've got to look after these tyres because the weather is pretty hot, so we'll just get Ocon into overtake mode in the meantime. Norris, meanwhile, we might have to abandon going the ultra soft and switch him to ultra soft, super soft, just because we're going to burn through this tyre pretty quickly in moving him back up the order since he had such a poor start. But Ocon, oh, and we've got a safety car early on here. really early. We've got Sergio Perez out of the Grand Prix. There's not long to go on this ultra soft, so could we switch off totally and go for this and then this? We've got enough time to do this, so we can get off this ultra soft tyre really early with both cars, so we're going to risk it. Although we do have a risk on the pit stop, we'll keep it safe. We're going to get both our cars in here. We're going to take the big risk in the hopes that we can stay ahead of the Ferrari, or overtake the Ferrari and stay ahead as we are at the moment ahead of Ferrari. We're going to take a massive risk here with the safety car. We're going to get into the pits and get one of our pit stops totally out of the way here. Hopefully this is going to work out for us. We see a Red Bull dive into the pits as well, who is in the pits. We've got both Red Bulls in the pits, so both Red Bulls following what we're doing. There was a quick mistake on the tyres of Ocon, but he's still ahead. And Norris gets out as well. He's done his pit stop as well, so we can get into backup and low mode here. There was a mistake with Ocon. Luckily, it's not cost him, though, because he's still ahead of Pascal Wehrlein here. And we've got the two Red Bulls sandwiched in between our Williams car here. So we're just going to come back around. We will join the back of the pack, but that should give us a little bit of an advantage if we can sort of move up the order here. And we can sort of go through this soft tyre, because we can always go for another soft tyre at the end as well. So we'll just let the safety car go around and we'll get back to the race in a second. Right, so the safety car is starting to pull away, so we're going to get into attack mode. We're just going to wait for the race to restart before we start pushing the fuel again. We might as well go into high mode though before the start of the race, and then get in overtake mode. The key to making this really risky early safety car strategy work is getting past a lot of these cars in front that would be holding us up. Obviously we're right behind Vettel here, and here we go back into the race. So we're going to switch into overtake mode because we have quite a lot of traffic to clear if we want to make this strategy work. We don't actually want to let these gaps build up to the front cars. If we can get past these Haas's and the Toro Rossos without incident here, Vettel himself is moving up the order pretty quickly. But here we go, and we don't want to really let the Red Bulls past us, although the car we're really fighting with is the Ferraris. If we can stay ahead of the Ferraris, as we say that, and Norris Ocon's actually dropped way down the order. It's Norris who's running further up the order than his teammate here, so Ocon not having the best of times at the moment, but Norris is ahead of Ricciardo. Where is Pascal Wehrlein? Pascal's dropped down to 18th here. Keep flashing up that we're off target, but obviously we're going to be on target once everyone else starts to make their pit stop. We're just going to run as quick as we can. We're up into 12th and 14th now. If we can stay within like a 20-second gap, we've sort of got a free pit stop here. We're dropping rapidly behind Lewis, who is really pushing at the moment. He's got his fuel in overtake mode. Obviously we can't run like this, and we've got a Sauber running wide. We've got a yellow flag. Who was that ran wide? Someone running totally wide in this Sauber. I'm guessing... Who was it? No, it was Lynn just crashing. I was looking for someone who ran wide. We just got Lynn crashing, but there's no safety car this time around. Alex Lynn just can't really catch a break this season, whereas we're just pushing now. We've got ourselves up into 8th place already, putting ourselves in a really good position. We've got Norris currently ahead of Ricciardo. Wehrlein, something went wrong and he dropped way behind. So we've sort of caught these cars now that we're sort of battling with. We're almost onto the back of the pack, pretty much where we started the race. Obviously Ocon was in first place when he came into the pits. He's lost position to his teammate, although he makes that move on Danny Rick now and gets in front of him. So we're just going to switch down into high mode. We're going to try and look after these tyres a little bit. What is Ricciardo doing at the moment? He's just in neutral. So we're just going to switch down here. We're going to have to try cool these tyres down at some point as well. They're going to start overheating pretty soon. We know if we go for another soft tyre though, we can come into the pits any time from around about the next 5 laps and then comfortably sort of get to the end of the race. And Ocon there gets past his teammate pretty easily. Norris giving that position up almost as we move into 8th and 9th place as we come around to the junction corner. And we head up into the Subida dos boxes, up into the Arquibancadas, up onto the bleachers, straight, and Ocon. We're about 10 seconds behind the lead at the moment, but more importantly, we're pretty close to the Ferraris here of Leclerc and Vettel, who will be two-stopping this race, I would feel. Although the safety car coming out could let them do a one stop from this point forward. So should we just cool these tyres down briefly, and then we can get pushing once again? We really sort of need to be pushing this soft tyre all out as much as we can. We should still be able to clear the Renault even in backup mode here, but we'll just let Ocon, we'll go into full on attack mode, see if we can get Ocon past the Renault of Felix Rosenqvist, and right on the back of Kevin Magnussen as well, who's coming to the pits around about lap 9. So we've got 25 laps remaining, so if anyone sort of pits around now, they're not going to be able to one-stop this race. So we've got Norris, Ocon past Rosenqvist. Norris is currently behind Danny Rick, but we're still cooling down his tyres at the moment. We can start cooling down the tyres of Esteban Ocon as well, who is currently running in 4th place. So if we can sort of get somewhere towards the podium, even with Ocon running in first, I don't think we've been able to hold Hamilton and Vettel behind us, although Vettel with that really bad start. We're going to see the Force India into the pits this lap, and it looks like Vettel has been looking after these tyres, but it's possibly just a little bit too early for these cars that they're coming to the pits now to run the one stop, which I'm guessing they were hoping they could do under the safety car. Vettel almost getting overtaken by Verstappen into the pits there, and we've almost got these tyres cooled down of Norris as well. In just a second, we might as well take it all the way down to the midpoint here before we start thinking about doing that, although Ricciardo's about to get unleashed here as he's looking to get past Rosenqvist, although Rosenqvist is doing a really good job for us, sort of holding Ricciardo behind us. And Norris is getting onto the back here, so we're going to get Norris pushing and hope, whilst Ricciardo's stuck behind Rosenqvist, that he can make a move on Danny Rick here in the Red Bull. So if we turn him up and give him the power here as we head along the pit straight, down the bleachers, looks like we could have the run into the sort of mini Senna S. Obviously this sort of layout of the track more replicates the Senna S, but it does have the right hand off the pit straight, which I don't like, because this track is one of the ones most realistic to real life, and if you take the right hander off the pit straight, it sort of ruins the flow of the track, sort of. But anyway, we've got Norris up into 3rd now. We've got Ocon just conserving his tyre at the moment. Hamilton is coming to the pits. He's down in 13th as well. So we're 13 seconds ahead. We sort of got a free pit stop. Since the way the tyres are for this track, we could make the pit stop on the 2nd lap and still run the 2-stop strategy, whereas Norris at the moment is sort of stuck behind Felix Rosenqvist here, although we should have the run on him down the straight, and then we can once again get back to conserving these tyres. We might as well try conserve some fuel as well, since Danny Rick is still stuck behind Rosenqvist here. If we can conserve fuel, although, I thought Rosenqvist was going to get that back, and we've got a virtual safety car now. I don't think we're going to be able to get a pit stop done here under the virtual safety car, but we can recover fuel under the virtual safety car. What are we going to be like coming round to the pits? We could get our last pit stop out of the way here, but it's going to be more than 24 seconds around to the pits, so it's not going to work out for us. We're just going to wait till the virtual safety car ends, and we'll get back into high mode with the fuel modes here. We think we've just about got the tyres cooled down with Ocon, that he can go back into neutral. We'll get him pushing in a little bit and try and open up a little bit of a gap a little bit more, whereas Norris is currently running 2nd. Danny Rick still having real problems getting past Felix Rosenqvist, who is going a long way into this Grand Prix. He's going to one-stop this race as well, and there we go. Ricciardo has now been released, so we're going to get into attack mode here. Maybe if he starts closing down this gap, he's really close, about half a second, but he's still being put under pressure from Felix Rosenqvist. It looks like Rosenqvist might have the run on him. Red Bull at the moment struggling with the Renault, which is working out pretty well. Oh, and Ricciardo locks up. He crashed. Ricciardo's crashed. He's locked up, battling with Felix Rosenqvist. Ricciardo runs straight off the corner of, it's like the, what is that? It's the corner 8. Although I'm not quite sure what corner it is round this track, but so that puts us in a really good position now that we can just sort of hold on. Hamilton is 21 seconds behind. He's been caught up. Well, he's been compromised as well. He's about 13 seconds behind. I'm guessing he's just stuck in traffic. We sort of got a free pit stop back to Hamilton, but obviously we need to be battling these cars because Rosenqvist and Van Dorn, they look like they are going to be running a one-stop strategy depending on what sort of tyre they come in for next. We see Verstappen come into the pits as well. He's getting off his ultra soft. That's going to be his 2nd pit stop, is it, or is that his 1st one? Must be. He's run a pair of ultra softs a long way into that Grand Prix. No, he's done 2 pit stops, 9 and a 4. Did he come out on a pair of used ultra softs at some point? But anyway, back to our cars now. So we've got this group of 3rd, 4th and 5th Wehrlein who did the early safety car strategy with us as well. So we've almost cooled these tyres down, so we're going to get Norris pushing again as well. We're going to get Ocon pushing as well, so we might as well just push until we need to come into the pits. And we've got a choice of tyre here. We're almost at the point of doing that, but we might as well, since the weather is so hot, although we've got rain coming as well, haven't we? I forgot about the rain. I don't think, could we stretch this tyre out that long until the rain comes? That is what we're going to want to do. No one else is going to be able to do that either though. So if we just stay out in front and maybe try and hold out to the rain, it is a very long way until the rain actually does come. So if we get off this tyre onto the Ultra Softs, it doesn't look like anyone else is going to be able to hold on to their tyre until the rain comes. Maybe Hamilton can on this Ultra, but yeah, he's not going to be able to do another 10 laps on that Ultra. So what we're going to do is we're going to really push on this Super Soft. We're going to get in for our Ultra Soft and push that all out, because I do have the performance boost on that as well. And then we can get onto the intermediate tyre to end the race on. That is going to be the strategy to sort of follow here. Rosenquist is going to be coming in pretty soon as well. So if we can get going as quick as we can at the moment, if we can try and open up this gap, because Hamilton is caught in traffic. We say that he manages to finally get past Hulkenberg. That's going to release him a little bit, because there's a little bit of a gap to Roman Grosjean, but he got stuck behind Hulkenberg for a long time there on that ultra soft tyre. Hulkenberg really making a case for that second seat at Mercedes, which is possibly going to be open if Kevin Magnussen does indeed leave the team. And we are a lot quicker this lap, a 120.9. We increase a second, a 120.7 increases to a 120.2. So we're just going to push this tyre. If we can keep going quicker this lap, if we start seeing ourselves lose this a little bit, we're doing 120.0s. We're beating Hamilton at the moment on this tyre. And we've got lap 26, 27, lap 25 or 26. This Ultra can do 10 laps. We do want to be able to push the Ultra all out, so we'll just keep going on this soft tyre for a few more laps. Obviously we do have a chance of a mistake being made in the pits because of me forgetting to once again change the pit crew, but Ocon sets the quickest last sector, sets the quickest lap of the race. Norris sets his quickest lap of the race as well. How are we going to start slowing down this lap? This soft tyre is almost done for, so we're going to get off onto the Ultras here, and we'll keep it safe with the pit stop, since it only costs us 0.3 of a second to go with the safe one, and we didn't actually swap the tyre there. So we're on the Ultras for Norris. We'll just make sure we've got the pit stop lined up right here, Ultras and safe. So here we go. So we've had four crashes this race. We have the Red Bull of Ricciardo, the Haas of Carlos Sainz, the Sauber of Alex Lynn, and the Force India of Sergio Perez. Kevin Magnussen is in really early here as well. He's out on a used pair of Ultra Softs. He's going to have to pit possibly once more even before the rain does come. But we're about to dive into the pits now. We're keeping pace on the rest of our laps, but we're going to get in for the Ultra. We're going to have to maybe conserve the fuel over this stint though, and then maybe push under the rain a little bit more if we can just get conserving. We made that pit stop without any mistakes though, and we're out into, Ocon is out into first. Hamilton is fourth, but we know Norris is out into fourth. Hamilton is third. He's going to have to pit on this ultra soft before the rain comes. I'm guessing Grosjean's going to have to pit as well before the rain comes. Can Leclerc stretch it out till the rain? Vettel, where is Vettel? Currently running in 13th place. So if we look here, we're not that far off the Drivers' Championship points that we require. Hamilton currently leading, but we would have a massive gap of, what is that, 24 points we would have a gap of if we can just keep this. If we can move Norris up into first and second, we go into the last two races in a really strong position. So we're just going to shred this tyre, possibly cool it down if it looks like it's going to totally overheat, or if it does overheat and it looks like the tyre is going to run out. But we're currently picking up a lot of pace at the moment. What is our lap time going to be at the moment? Are we going to be up into the 118s maybe? The high 119s? What can we get off this lap? It looks like we're slowing down because the tyres have overheated. So we do a 119, really in the low 119s there, so a really good lap. I'm guessing we're going to start slowing down because these tyres are overheated. We'll just see what they're like over the first part of this lap. We're sort of keeping pace with the last lap. but we'll just cool them down so then we can get into a period of pushing these tyres once again. We don't want them wearing away before the rain comes. That would sort of negate our strategy totally, although we're not that far away from the race that we could possibly do that. But if we just cool down for one lap here, Hamilton's going to come in for the intermediates early and possibly be on the wrong tyre for a period of this race. He's under pressure from Charles Leclerc. It looks like Hamilton's trying to stretch his tyre out as much, but he's going to come into the pits. His tyre has totally gone as he's trying to stretch it out as far as possible, which puts us in a really good position. And he's got a problem with his car. Is he going to be in the pits for a long time here? Looks like he's got problems. He's pitting to fix something and he's in a very long time, so that is going to work in our favour here. Oh, it would be immense if I could get a 1-2 on my favourite track here. Would be amazing. It looks like Leclerc, his tyre is absolutely shredded as well. So we can just afford to keep this until we get out of the red zone. I think we're just pretty much there, so we can get back into attacking here. Just wait for the rain now. Vettel, meanwhile, where is Vettel? 9th place. Is he going to stretch till the rain comes? No, he's coming in this lap before the rain has even come. They're going to go on to the intermediates, which aren't going to suit the track. So from out of nowhere, that early safety car strategy has put us in the strongest position we could ever hope for here, heading into the final third of the race. Leclerc comes out on the inters early. Hamilton is on the inters early and has already gone through them pretty quickly. Vettel, meanwhile, he's going to come onto the inters early. The rain is about to start. We might stretch this ultra soft tyre out one more lap here. Just because the rain is not that heavy, we're not really crossed over at the moment. The rain's not really going to take effect on the track, so we're going to stay out this one extra lap because we should still be able to go pretty quick around the track. And we've sort of got a free pit stop. We've got 41 seconds back to Charles Leclerc, who's going to get off for the inters, so we're not really losing much time this lap. The rain's starting to get a little bit heavier now, so we're going to get off and on to the inters, and we're going to do the same with Lando Norris as well. We can get off and onto the inters. If we just keep pushing, we're going to be able to recover the fuel as well without much trouble. So Pascal Wehrlein is following us at the moment, possibly the only car that can really trouble us here. Hamilton, meanwhile, is 7th place, 48 seconds behind. He's almost going through this intermediate. He might not even be able to make that last till the end of the race. Vettel is all the way in 11th, outside the points at the moment. So here we come into the pits. Hopefully no mistakes, nice and clean for Ocon. Hopefully nice and clean for Norris, nice and clean there as well. So we're just going to go in push mode. We don't really need to push the car all out here, as we've got a massive lead with Ocon, Norris there. Wehrlein is in the pits for a long time. Wehrlein, was there a mistake with Wehrlein there, or was he fixing something? He comes out just ahead of Charles Leclerc, but we've got a massive gap now to the cars behind us in 3rd and 4th. So if we can hang on with both these cars, would be absolutely immense. Vettel is way outside where he should be here. Ocon is only 2 points behind Vettel at the moment, although Vettel is possibly going to pick up some more places, and we have a points gap of 26 points at the moment over Ferrari. Absolutely amazing if we can just hang on here to 1st and 2nd. It looks like we're going to be able to do that because it looks like we're going so much quicker than Wehrlein, even though he's pushing. He's possibly about a second quicker, but he's a long way behind. 12 seconds. Or is it? No, 10 seconds. Just under 11 seconds between Norris and Wehrlein. We really don't need to push out here. We can just sort of look after these tyres. And if we see Wehrlein start to make a move, then we can get pushing. We've no reason to risk anything, as Leclerc has now fallen behind Stoffel Van Dorn. Van Dorn, having an amazing race here himself, has got himself up into 4th place in this McLaren. Hamilton is up into 6th place at the moment. What is he doing? 120.5. He's not quicker than our 2 cars at the moment, although he will be going quicker on the next lap as we're just holding back a little bit now, keeping these tyres cool, as even though it's raining, the air temperature, the track temperature is getting a lot higher here. So hopefully now we can just hold on. Not many laps to go. We're on lap 27 of 33. The only thing that would possibly throw this race into chaos is if we get a 5th crash and a safety car comes out. Although if a safety car come out, there wouldn't be that much time left, but obviously it would bunch up the field for the last few laps, which is definitely what we don't need. We're still holding this gap to about 9 seconds here. It was 10. Wehrlein's only managed to get it down 7/10 of a second as we start to cool these tyres down. So we're just going to cool everything down. We'll run in low and low, and then since we're so far ahead, we don't have to risk the car. We're not even going to risk a crash in the rain. We're going to let Verline catch back up, and then maybe for the last couple of laps we're just going to push all out, see what sort of lap times we can get in the rain, see if we can see how much quicker we are if we just go all out push for the last couple of laps. We are risking a crash doing that, so maybe that is not the best of ideas to do, but we'll just cool down like this, and then what we'll do is, once Ocon's going to do, we're going to do one flying lap this lap, pushing everything all out. Hopefully it doesn't make us crash, but if we get ready to push now coming into these final few corners, we'll do the same with Norris. That gap has come down to 7 seconds now, so if we can increase that back as we do our really fast lap here as the rain just before whilst there's a little sort of gap in the rain, we'll get pushing because the track's going to sort of dry off a little bit. So we are picking up the time now. We did a 1:20.1 and a 1:20.5. Verline set the quickest sector, third sector of the race on that last lap, so we're increasing this gap now a tiny little bit, although Verline now has closed down. And we've got problems with the engine here, although it's only at 40%, so that's not too bad. And might be hurting the engine, boss, so we've got problems there as well, but obviously we're going to be able to get to the end of the race. So here we go, fastest lap for Esteban Ocon. I don't think Norris is going to be close to that. Norris comes across the line, sets his quickest lap. We'll go back to medium and medium here. This gap to Verline is back at almost 9 seconds now. So that last lap was a 1:18.2. Look at that lap on the last lap. Almost 2 seconds quicker than the rest of the field. Pretty much confirming that we are going to finish 1 and 2. Leclerc has managed to get back past Stoffel Van Dorn. Hamilton's still struggling though in catching up Van Dorn, possibly because his inters are a little bit more worn. He's having to look after those tyres. He had to come in really early and lost a lot of time trying to get the ultra soft through to the rain. Didn't work out for him. Vettel still 9th place here, following the Ferrari powered Haas here, not able to get past him either, which is working into our favour, which is going to keep that massive gap of 26 points at the top of the Constructors' Championship. And Esteban Ocon puts himself in a really good place as well. So it's just been a season of luck this season, in that when it's rained, we know our car is really good in the rain. It seems pretty quick. I don't know whether that's to do with the engine being able to power through the rain, whether it's to do with having a really good rear wing. I don't know what sort of account different parts take into what the weather is, whether that is actually a thing in this game, but for some reason we always perform really well in the race. A lot of that is down to strategy, a lot of that is down to luck, especially in this race. A lot of it is down to the luck of having the safety car, where we had a really early pit stop and these tyres are pretty much, well, they are totally overheated, but we can just keep them like that as we come around the last half of the lap now. Final lap for Ocon. This gap is still 8.4 between Norris and Verline, so we'll just watch Norris take these last few corners as he comes up the pit climb here into the bleachers. Ocon, another win this season, absolutely amazing race for him. And Norris picks up another second place, another podium for him. Absolutely amazing in his maiden season in Formula 1. Keeps him 4th. There's no real chance of him catching the top 3, but look at that, a massive gap back to the next car, Kevin Magnussen. We won't put Charles Leclerc in with the rest of the group because he spent the first half of the season with Sauber. Then Norris goes flying past Ocon, possibly congratulating him, possibly wishing that he could have held this position, because Norris was ahead of Ocon at one point in the race. And Ocon as well had an absolutely amazing start to this race. As we saw, he got himself from 7th to 1st, right up the outside of this long pit straight, which goes into a few tiny corners before you hit it. So if you've got a really good start, you can get past the rest of the field, it seems like. But anyway, Ocon is the winner for the Williams Racing F1 team. An absolutely amazing performance. Hopefully, well, we know we haven't got any parts, but that are risky. Hopefully there's some other cars. Lewis Hamilton has been demoted 4 places for running risky parts here, which puts him way outside now, I would feel, from the rest. He's on 232, so he's now 14 points behind Vettel going into the last 2 races of the season. Did Vettel pick up some places there on the last lap? Vettel actually moved ahead of Roman Grosjean, got himself up into 7th place, so we're now 6 points behind Sebastian Vettel with Esteban Ocon, and that gap is just 22 points between us and the Ferrari. Mercedes a long way back here, struggling this season as well. the Mercedes team is possibly going to be wanting to make some changes to get back their competitiveness next season. But we came first overall, 976,000 coming out of the bank account. We've got 2 races left here, and hopefully we can somehow stay ahead of the other constructors here. We're just doing this because I'm scouting so many people at the moment. Luca Giotto does have a dodgy neck, so he's possibly 2.5-star rated. And we've got Max Chilton, who is currently with the Carlin team, I think in IndyCar, isn't he? He's a 3-star rated driver, so he could be an option for some of the F2 teams as well. But we'll just get the mail over and done with here. Our pit crew, we were 1.6, even though we were doing the safe pit stops. That's only 1/10 down on our quickest ones this season. But we'll just get this interview out of the way. Lando finishing second, just behind his teammate. Usually when they say they both did well, you use marketability, so we'll just go with Ocon. It's going to upset Norris, but he's going to regain that morale pretty easily. Anyway, so yeah, an absolutely amazing race. We roll into Dubai in 17 days with the hope that with the engine being crucial, we can stay ahead of the Ferrari heading into the final race at Phoenix, the oval race. If we can get everything culminating with a really strong finish to the season, it will be absolutely amazing if we could somehow still be in the fight, which we will be, because even if we finish lower down the order, Ferrari are only really going to pull back the gap to pretty much even, as we've picked up 5 wins this season somehow. I think that is 4 for Ocon, and it should be 4 for Ocon. Yes, it is, winning in Australia, China, Italy and Brazil, whereas Lando Norris won in South Africa. So yeah, hopefully we're going to keep things going in the next race. 421 points this season, which is not the best points haul, although I think I was going to say it's not the best points haul over the champions over the previous seasons. But if we can have another 2 good races, we could beat the 453 that was achieved by Mercedes to win the title back in the 2016, which is actually a 2018 season in this game. But anyway, that is it for this episode. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff, but I'll see you down the road for the next Grand Prix in Dubai. Goodbye.